Hello again. Welcome to this series of podcasts about children's views and the role of social science in family law. Thanks to Donna Cooper for her preparation of the original materials in this module and these podcast slides. In this module, a number of different but related issues are dealt with together. In these podcasts, we'll be looking first, and briefly, at the social science research about the impact on parents of separation and divorce. Second, some of the critique of the 2006 so described shared parenting amendments to the Family Law Act will also be examined. Second, or further, more correctly, we'll be looking at some of the factors that may indicate that a shared or substantial or significant time parenting arrangement might work. Finally, this module will also cover children's views or wishes, as they might be described, and how they are taken into account by the courts. We will also be examining the role of a person known as the independent children's lawyer and examining expert reports. There are some misconceptions about how children's views are dealt with in family law proceedings, particularly that there is some form of rule or appropriate age when a child can decide for himself or herself which parent that they might be able to live with. We'll be looking at some of those issues in this module. Let's begin though with the social science research into the impact on parents of separation and divorce. On your slide is a reference to Robert E. Emery in the work Renegotiating Family Relationships, Divorce, Child Custody and Mediation. Emery's grieving model is a cyclical model where people cycle through different emotions and gradually get less strong over time. Grief arises through various losses associated with separation, including loss of social connections, loss of standard of living, and loss of security and or trust in relationships. As a result of this loss, or these losses, grieving may be more cyclical than linear. People experiencing this form of grief may cycle through three core emotions of anger, sadness, and love. There may be differences in the emotional status and state of people in a separated parenting context, where, for example, one parent has decided to leave the relationship and perhaps was already emotionally ready to do so, and the other person, who might be described as the left person, was not so emotionally ready. Each party might be at a different level and different stages of grieving. The extent to which a party may be, for example, emotionally ready to finalise parenting or financial matters may significantly influence whether disputes can or cannot be resolved entirely out of court. On the slide in front of you is something described as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You may be familiar with it. The model is certainly helpful in negotiating family law cases in considering the needs of the parties. It starts at the bottom by setting out that our most important needs are, of course, our body functions, sufficient for us to stay alive. It then moves up through stages and of course includes the need for safety and security. So for some of our clients, when they say they are going through a grieving process, or they say that they have lost a sense of security, their family may have broken down, they may have had to move out of their house, they may have had to sell their house. So it's understanding from those losses that the grieving process may be ongoing and that their needs may not be met. This also helps us about thinking about people's underlying interests and needs when negotiating a dispute. In other words, not just the legal issues that might be at stake. Turning to some research about the impact of separation on children. On your learning page for this module, there is a direct link to an extract from the report prepared by the Australian Psychological Society, entitled Managing the Impact of Separation and Divorce on Children, Monograph 2. This document sets out, amongst a growing body of research, the effect of parental separation. For example, if children are not aware of any conflict between their parents prior to the separation, then separation may come as a shock. Some children may have been aware of the extent of their parental conflict and may have already been exposed to it prior to separation occurring. Some children, particularly younger children, may not want their parents to separate. Other children may live in the hope that their parents will get back together. Separation, it is said, can create a lot of change for children. They may have to move out of their family home, they may have to go to a different school and or lose contact with their friends. They may not see a parent that they were living with as often, or in some cases not at all. As a result of the separation, there will be two households and the associated splitting of finances. This may mean that one or both parents may be financially worse off, and accordingly the child's standard of living, either in one or both households, may be significantly reduced. The Australian Psychological Society also says, at pages 15 to 19 of the monograph, that the different ages of children will be relevant to the extent of the impact on them. This report says that separation can sometimes impact more greatly on younger children because they have no understanding of what is going on. The report says that in contrast, older, say adolescent children, may have a greater understanding of the situation. The research suggests that primary school age children, for example, may blame themselves for the separation. They may not understand that the separation is linked with adult issues and think that only if they had been a, quote, better, unquote, boy or girl, then the separation may not have occurred. Or their parents might, if they're better, that is, the children might be better, get back together. It does not appear to be controversial, though, that the research says that parental conflict has a significant impact on children's emotional health. This is not just arising out of or subsequent to separation, but rather could be a feature of the parents' relationship while they are cohabiting. The extent of the impact is dependent on a child's age, maturity and background. The dynamics of conflict may continue to play out in a post-separation environment. For example, by each of the parents denigrating the other two, or in the presence of the children, or during the course of changeover for time arrangements. This conduct may extend to other family members who are immersed in the conflict. The evidence points to a number of factors impacting on children's adjustment to separation. One factor is whether or not the parents are able to adequately adjust to their changed circumstances and able to work together. Other factors include whether or not there is a change in where the children are living. Another is the personality of the child. Some children may be flexible and adaptable and consequently not that impacted by the separation. Others may find transition and change that much more difficult. This introductory consideration of some of the social science research will hopefully give you some context and background for your legal studies and also help you inform, at least in a background way, how you might provide advice. Next, I'm going to take you through the 2006 amendments to the Family Law Act in the sense that there has been some criticism of those amendments and some research on shared parenting and when that might be the most effective or otherwise. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.